Hello! Clipper here, and welcome to another study session. We finally made it. We are finally out of the prologue cutscenes and actually in the game, in the world, standing here. Since we're gonna be working through a lot of tutorials today, we're probably gonna be seeing a lot of prompts that aren't necessarily full sentences, but that's alright, we can still learn quite a bit from them. And we're actually gonna be starting off with this little side quest marker over here. Now, I'm not going to be going over each and every one of these explicitly, but one feature I would like to point out is this little gi ending right here. Gi is another noun form, but unlike nungo, which is very conversational, gi is primarily used for things like lists and labels. Alright, let's get into some of these tutorials. So I'm going to take a brief moment with our little top common words list and just completely disregard it. I found that some of these opposites are a little easier to learn in tandem, but if you start forgetting a lot of the stuff we go through today, don't worry, I probably will too. Alright, so first we got 화면을 드래그하여 카메라 조절. So 화면 refers to the screen, and then 조절 is like controls, so drag screen for camera controls. Awesome. Also, yes, I'm on mobile, shut up. Alright, next up. 두 손가락으로 늘리거나 줄여서 화면 확대 및 축소. So 손 on its own just means hand, but 손가락 means finger. Now, uro is kind of like with the use of, so 두 손가락으로 using two fingers, 늘리거나 줄여서. I'm actually going to start with this little gonna ending in the middle here, which kind of acts as either, in that it's used to decide between two verbs. And right now we're deciding between 늘리다 to expand or 줄이다, which is to reduce. Now, also has a couple different meanings, but the one that's being used right now is to denote means or method. So, by expanding and reducing with two fingers, 화면 확대 및 축소. Again, starting in the middle here, meet kind of acts as well as. Right now, that's with reference to 확대, expansion, and 축소, reduction. In English, we'd probably simplify this down to just use two fingers to zoom in and out. I'm gonna be honest, I don't actually know how interchangeable these two are. Maybe one is used with respect to space, and the other is used with respect to like maybe size, but don't quote me on that, I have no idea what I'm talking about. Let's see here. 조이스틱을 움직여 이동. So 움직이다 is to move, and I think it can either be used to describe your own movement or moving something else. And then 이동 I think is just referring to your own movement. Honestly, just worry about 움직이다, it's so much more common. Alright. 버튼을 눌러 회피, 길게 누르면 다시 합니다. So for this first bit, 누르다 is to push, and then 회피 is kind of like dodging. So 버튼을 눌러 회피, push the button to dodge. And for this next bit, 길게 누르면 다시 합니다. 길다 is like to be long, and then this 게 ending just makes it into an adverb. So 길게 눌러 is kind of like to push for a long time, we would just say hold. So altogether, that's like push to dodge, hold to dash, but I'm not really sure why they added this formal umnida ending. Like, we went from unga bunga to flight attendant real fast. Actually, let me see if I can do that in like a flight attendant voice kind of deal. 버튼을 눌러 회피, 길게 누르면 다시 합니다. Oh, never let me do that again. Anyways, what's next? 버튼을 눌러 jump. Yeah, I think I'm gonna let you guys figure that out on your own. Also, don't mind me just studying animation here real quick. Oh, okay. 배낭을 열어 획득한 아이템의 정보를 확인할 수 있습니다. So starting with 배낭을 열어, 배낭 is like a backpack, which I've been hearing a lot more in the wild recently, but growing up I was actually much more familiar with 가방, which just refers to any kind of bag. And then 열다 is just to open, so 배낭을 열어, open the backpack. Alright, so for 획득한 아이템의 정보, 획득하다 we don't really need to know right now. I'm just worried about 정보, which is information. So 아이템의 정보, the item's information. Now for 확인할 수 있습니다, 확인하다 is like to check or to confirm. This 릴 수 있다 ending is kind of like to be able to or can. So 확인할 수 있어, can confirm. So putting all of this together, if we open the backpack, we can check the information of collected items. You know what? Let's do that. Alright, in the upper left here, I'm seeing 무기, which is weapon. It's not particularly important, but I've decided that it's fun. And then on the right here, we actually have our weapon. I'm not really going to get into the name of it or the flavor text right now. I'm just going to focus on this little bit here, 한손감. 한손, one hand, and then 검 here means sword. So, 한손감, one-handed sword. Let's see what's under this tab for a minute. So, 재료 is going to be our materials, and on the right here, we can see our little crab friend. So, 게 is the word for crab, and while got directly translates to flower crab, It actually refers to a type of blue crab that they eat a lot in Asia. I'm not really sure if gokke refers to a specific species of crab or if it refers to a certain family of crabs though. Also, I've forgotten how weird the charapha looks without an element. Alright, 버튼을 눌러 공격, so 공격's gotta be attack. Aw, look at this single digit damage. So cute. Alright, finally, we made it. 워프 포인트 근처에 가서 상호작용 버튼을 눌러 활성화. So first off, 근처 is like vicinity, so 워프 포인트 근처에 가서 go to the vicinity of the warp point. Though typically in English we'd phrase this something closer to go near the warp point, but the essence still stands. Next up, 상호작용 is like interaction to describe the interact button, but if you would like to write something down, I would pay a little more attention to 작용 on its own, which just means action. So altogether, this bit is kind of like go near the warp point to hit the interact button and reactivate it. Alright, we can do that. Just 1 second. Okay, number 1. 맵 화면에 진입. So this is pretty much just entry to the map screen. Number 2. 맵에서 활성화된 워프 포인트를 선택해 간편하게 해당 위치로 워프할 수 있습니다. So this first part here is just, on the map, pick a reactivated warp point. Starting this next bit with 간편하게, 간편하다 is kind of like to be simple or convenient, so 간편하게 is just conveniently. More often than not though, you'll probably see just 편하다, which is to be comfortable. Skipping ahead to 위치로, 위치 is location, and I know earlier I said 로 was with the use of, but with respect to direction, it acts more as towards. So 위치로, towards the location. So the second bit here is saying that we can conveniently warp to a relevant location. Alright then, 미니맵의 가이드를 따라 목적지로 향할 수 있고 미니맵을 누르면 맵을 열 수 있습니다. So for this first bit, 따라다 is to follow, so 미니맵의 가이드를 따라 follow the minimap's guide. And then for this next bit, 목적지로 향할 수 있고 목적지 is destination, though you may also see 목적 on its own, which is goal. And then 향하다 is kind of like to face or to head towards, so this entire first bit is saying follow the minimap's guide and you can head towards your destination. And 미니맵을 누르면 맵을 열 수 있습니다. Push the minimap and you can open the map. Oh, this empty map is so weirdly nostalgic. I'll probably go into place names as we unlock the map later down the line. Anyways, this seems like a pretty decent stopping point. I don't know about you, but I think I'm starting to feel a little bit more confident with what's going on here. Some of my favorite resources will be listed in the description below, as per usual. And as always, thanks for joining me along on my little journey here. Take care, and I'll see you across the ecliptic. Bye bye!